The strength and conditioning coach has two main key objectives: to increase the performance of each physical quality that is required within the athlete's chosen sport, and secondly, to reduce the risk of the athlete gaining an injury, something we call intrinsic risk factors. To make sure these two key objectives are actually achieved, the coach requires information about the athlete in question and the sport itself. So for us, that would be the swim, bike and run for triathlon. And to ensure the greatest transfer of training is achieved from your strength and conditioning to your main sport, the coach must source relative information of the sport via academic journal, conferences, whether it's in person or online, and texts. This information enables appropriate training interventions to actually be prescribed to the athlete. Now, strength and conditioning has existed for a very long time. However, it only seems to be gaining popularity in endurance-based sports in most recent years, and triathlon being one of them. It's been found that in some professional elite female triathletes that they perform at least 52 strength and conditioning sessions in a given training year. Now, if they can gain the benefits in exercise performance and injury prevention, then the keen amateur, like myself and probably yourself, keen amateur and triathlete or age grouper, should not ignore that information. Strength and conditioning is also composed of movement, physiological and injury analysis, and the S&C coach will require detailed knowledge of the performance qualities of the sport, be it in the kinematics and the kinetics and the bioenergetics and the movement demands and the injury risk factors involved within them. This then leads on to what training modes need to be implemented to replicate these very specific demands. This can be strength, speed strength, metabolic conditioning, speed and agility, and injury prevention methods, and that's to name a few. Before this, however, the S&C coach needs an understanding of an athlete's current and previous training status. We can do this through something called the athlete analysis. And to experience the benefits, the athlete requires patience. The human body requires time to adapt to the training mode placed upon it, just like any other training that you might do. And quite often an athlete will go through a block of strength training, for example, which at times can take up to 6 to 12 weeks, depending on their previous experience within the gym environment. Once that strength foundation has been achieved, we then have a platform to explore other qualities on something called the force velocity curve, which can then galvanize an athlete's performance. Think of it as strength training is your foundation training. Developing actual strength, however, is misunderstood in many sports and physical therapy rehabilitation settings. Too often, online coaches will progress their athletes' training only for them to fall short as they cannot tolerate the capacity of the intensity and the volume of the exercise stimulus. Even worse, they tell them not to do any hard running over the off-season because they think they will get injured. And they might be right. And if so, that athlete needs to strengthen up and become more robust so they don't break down in injury. You shouldn't be breaking down doing one hard run session a week. Now, specific S&C training can assist with such training loads if it's periodized correctly.